And we are live. We want the gold, sucker. We want the gold, sucker. And what is up, everybody? It's your boy Ben Goosen back at you this week with episode 99. Episode 99. You hear that? We got episode 100 coming up soon. Man, next episode that we drop will be episode 100. Talk about an accomplishment, right? How many other podcasters out there can say, you know what? We have 100 episodes. Matter of fact, how many people out there can say, I've done this thing, this new endeavor, a new hobby. I've stuck around with it for 100 different episodes, different times, different for people who want to get in shape. For all that, man, you gotta love it. 100th episode coming up. We got to do something special for the listeners out there. Hit us up at Real WrestleCast. Let us know what you want to see. Let us know what you want out there. Hey, look, I'm riding solo this week. I normally have my partner in crime, Sage the Mock, that's here with me, but he couldn't make it today. So what we are gonna do? Normally when I ride solo, you know, I like to take a dig at old Sage the Mark. It's a close friend of mine. Today I'm not gonna take a dig. I'm gonna take a swig. That's right. Take a swig, my boy Sage Mark. As you can see, I got my tumbler going on. You probably hear the ice clanging because we be banging. It sound like the Usos, right? Coming in hot. Let's get into this week in wrestling. We got a lot to talk about. Let's start with the biggest news of the week. The biggest news of the week, by far. Enzo Amore. Yeah, y'all thought I was going with Becky or Bryan, huh? Especially with the title of this week's show. Let's get into it. Enzo Amore, I think this was today, might have been yesterday, was kicked off of a flight, Delta flight, for vaping on a plane. Come on, dude. What makes... Who in their right mind thinks they could vape on a plane? Matter of fact, from the news that's out there, he was vaping on a plane and then was told, don't do that, and then he kept doing it. So I could completely understand first time, because vaping is not the same as cigarettes. There's no smoke, all that good stuff. I could see the first time doing it and saying, hey, honest mistake. I didn't think it was that bad. It's just honest mistake on my end. It's just mist. It was water mist. But to keep doing it, there's one thing I've learned. In life, you do not mess with plane attendants. You do not mess with anybody in the airline industry. Messing with them, it's like worse than messing with almost as bad as... No, it's probably worse than messing with the police. Because that flight attendant, that lady, that fella, whoever it is, they got power. Think about it. They have enough power to say, turn this plane around right now. They got the power to do that. They got the power to say, turn this plane around. You don't have that. Police don't have that. Think about it. Just because, and they can make it subjective. They could say, you know what, Ben Goosen? That's a lot of white in that beard. How do you have so much white in your beard and you're only 35? Your beard is weird. How do you have so much white in your beard? Get the hell up off my plane. I'm going to say, wait, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? That's offensive. You're offending me. And they're going to say, oh, fuck you. Turn around. Get off this plane. And they'll make up something. They'll say I'm unruly. Or I'm drunk. You got to respect those people. They got a lot of power. Enzo didn't listen. Got booted off the plane. Man, whatever's going on, I hope dude finds it, man. Whatever he's looking for in life, I hope he truly finds it. I ain't trying to rag on him. I don't like to see people on bad times. But damn, was a cruiserweight champion, a controversial cruiserweight champion. A couple months later, is gone, and he's getting in trouble. At least he didn't get arrested. Just got kicked off the plane. Easy come, easy go. But man, all right, let's get into the mix. Where am I going to start? Let's start with Raw this week. I gotta admit, Raw was good. Raw, these guys decided to step their game up. Raw was good. So this week, I'm not going to lie, Sage and I have talked about it on the podcast before. Go home shows, it's almost like we're not really a fan. It's almost like a throwaway show. And I'd love to hear in the chat. Hit us up on Twitter at Real WrestleCast. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What's worse? Keywords worst. A go home show on a go home week, traditionally speaking, or these WWE is in another country specialty shows, because they're both like house shows. Nothing major goes down. Nothing big happens. You know what I'm saying? Typically, titles don't change. It's just let's just hype up what's going down on Sunday. But this week, no, this week we had something different. This week we had 2 stellar go home shows that basically made Survivor Series look stacked. Now, I don't know if it's because of Becky Lynch getting injured or no, because the Becky Lynch thing, it was going to happen regardless. The invasion. I don't know if it's because of the Roman Reigns stuff. You know, Kevin Owens is out still. Sami Zayn's out still. I don't know if it's because the injury bugs hit the WWE. We haven't seen a bug like this hit for a while with a random string of just a bunch of injuries to the top guys. We had the sickness last year, the stomach bug that was going through. But man, 2 solid go-home shows. Let's start with Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw, I got to give props. I liked the Brock Lesnar segment. He comes out. I don't think he should talk on the mic. I didn't really understand where he was going with the Jewish comment. But Brock Lesnar comes out and decimates Jinder Mahal. It was a total Brock Lesnar just showing his toughness, just showing what he does, how tough he is, all that good stuff. But we had a solid Brock Lesnar just laying it into the Singh brothers. Laying it into these guys. It was crazy. You also had some, what was the top match of SmackDown? I like that they ended the show this week with a women's match. You know, because you straight up, you get to thinking, okay, it's a go-home show, go-home week. They're going to end it with, I think it was Sasha and Bayley. They're going to end it this week with a women's match that should be pretty good. But then you get into the big ending. And I'll go ahead and talk about that ending right now. Becky Lynch, a lot of people equate her to Steve Austin, to Stone Cold Steve Austin. She's a heel, but not anti-hero. She's anti-person, but you got to listen. When she cuts her promo, she's not out there talking about, hey, the reason I turned, and this is the stereotypical face-to-heel promo. The reason I turned heel is because of you. And you blame the fans. You go do some bad stuff. You get the negative fan reaction, all that stuff. Cut on the city, typical heel stuff. She's not doing that. She's saying, I flat out don't like Charlotte. I flat out am going to beat up Ronda Rousey. I'm the man. This week, she takes that solid stiff one from Nia Jax. Whew. That's a good right hand. Solid right hand. And WWE says she's broken her face, which, from the looks of it, probably means just maybe a broken orbital. But coming from Sage, Mark, and I, we watch a lot of UFC. A broken orbital normally comes with a lot of swelling, so I think she just may have gotten roughed up. Hopefully not a concussion. I don't think it was a concussion or anything like that. But she just got roughed up a bit, and she's in a bit too rough shape to fight. But here's the thing about this Becky Lynch segment. If you watch it, she goes out there and just sells it and loves it. If you go back and watch Raw, so she goes out to the ring, walks over to the timekeeper, whoever, the medical staff or whatnot, walks over to those guys, looks for a towel. Maybe she cleaned herself up, obviously not. And then just keeps on. She goes right back in the ring with the chair, beats up Ronda, walks out, and then just thrives in the moment. When you get punched like that, she could have just went to the corner, went straight to the back, and just called it a day. Nothing good, nothing bad would have came of it. But she stood there. On Twitter, she posted that it's her Irish war paint. In the crowd, too. So that people equate it to Steve Austin's Bret Hart bloody moment, passing out in the sharpshooter. And, man, I dug it. And I don't think it's a bad thing that Becky versus Ronda was canceled. I think it's a great thing. People are worried about, oh man, how long is Becky Lynch going to be out? We don't know. Man, is this going to impede her push? Is she not going to be the same when she comes back? No. She's going to be bigger. Because now you have Becky versus Ronda at Mania. You have arguably, Ronda might be the biggest, but arguably the top female WWE performer in the business is Becky Lynch. The hottest thing in the business right now, female-wise, is Becky Lynch. By far. And she just had that bloody face moment. Now, I don't know a lot about wrestling. When it comes to in-ring stuff, I've never been in a ring. I don't know about selling all that stuff. Man, Nia threw that solid right. I don't know if she mistimed it and didn't think maybe that Becky was that. Maybe she just miscalculated how far away she was, or thought that Becky would roll with the punch a bit better. Who knows? But man, that's a business you can get knocked out in. Man. So speaking of the Bs, we got Becky, Bryan, but I want to talk about another B that really stepped it up this week. And man, the crowd was so into this guy. And that's Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman comes out, confronts Stephanie McMahon. And what a segment. Ronda comes out, flips over, judo slams or judo tosses, judo hip tosses, Baron Corbin. Just what a segment. Braun is finally back to, I'm glad they didn't keep him heel, because he's slowly getting back into that monster that he was. That guy who was going to be a big dude that was over. The get these hands chants. Man, the fans are digging it. The kids are digging it. You just hit all fan bases. The fanboys, the wrestling addicts, the marks. Well, I love Braun Strowman. Of course you love Braun Strowman. Man, dude's just getting crazy over. Rest of Raw was pretty good. I'd say it was decent. Elias was pretty solid on the mic. Good to see him as a face. Rest of Raw was average. Maybe had a sprinkle of things that just made it above average. You know what I'm saying? This week had a couple things that just made it above average, and that's a good thing. Now, I listened to, before I bridge into SmackDown and get into some predictions, I listened to the Chris Jericho podcast. Man, dude's been doing this for years. He's got it going on. It was the Elite, formerly known as the Bullet Club members, became their own thing. So we had Hangman Page. We had the Young Bucks, Cody, and my boy Marty Scurll all went solo. They are the Elite. You can watch them on Being the Elite on YouTube. That's where the show's at. They officially call themselves the Elite. They have left the Bullet Club. The Tongans and those guys are going to run the Bullet Club now. And their reasoning was the Bullet Club is going in a direction that is not in the same direction we're going in. So I'm curious to see where that goes. Now let's talk about that. Cody and the Young Bucks, the Elite, the full crew. Those guys have done something that not many other people have done. Paul Heyman's done it. Eric Bischoff did it, sort of. He had a lot of money and controversy. But these guys have mastered how to market wrestling and what to do and how to do it. Especially, but what's crazy to me, what's impressive is they've mastered it in today's age, the digital age. So they're using YouTubes, they're using Fight Pass, they're using the internet to get their name out there, social media and stuff. Man, hats off to those dudes. They did an amazing job. Let's get on to SmackDown. We had the official announcement, I believe, filling out the roster of the 10-man tag team Survivor Series traditional match, which I believe is actually on the kickoff show. We had some pretty decent matches out there. We had a Randy Orton. Man, Randy Orton's a G. Randy Orton showed up to work on Tuesday, worked 30 seconds, and in that one day, if you break out his contract, divide it by 365, in that one day, he worked 30 seconds, and he made more in that one day in a week. Think about that. Ain't that some baller stuff? Randy Orton woke up And he's a veteran. He knows what to do backstage, how the game is played. Showed up. They said, "Hey, you're gonna throw out an RKO to the Miz. Take a couple hits from old Ray Ray, and then you're gonna go to the back." Man, that's like showing up to a basketball. It'd be like LeBron showing up. The blowouts in the first 5 minutes of the first quarter, and he didn't sweat, so he didn't even have to shower. And then you just chill. Man, makes me wish I was Randy Orton. SmackDown was good. I think the highlight of SmackDown, as we all know, by far, was the ending. So I got a bunch of texts. I watched SmackDown about an hour late. I got a bunch of texts. My phone was blowing up. And people texted me saying, "Oh man, SmackDown was good this week, just as good as Raw." But they sent all those texts. So SmackDown here in Texas is on it from 7 to 9. I got all these texts at 9:05, 9:15, and it made me realize, damn, all right, well, main event must have been good. The match was good. And I'll tell you this, in the match, it just proved to me, damn, AJ Styles was good. He cut the promo earlier in the night where he specifically said how he explained how long he's been the champ for. I've been the champ this long. Here's my reign. Man, that set the stage for the main event. I didn't even see it. I didn't see it coming. It set the stage for, you know what, we got some drama in this main event. And that set the stage for, you know what, I beat this guy not too long ago, 2 weeks ago, and now I got to fight him again tonight. All right, well, he's been champ this long. What if he loses it? None of us saw the way he was going to lose it. So they have a hell of a match. They go with the kind of half-assed ref bump in the ring. Daniel Bryan, man, AJ Styles, if he wants to have kids, he's never having kids again. He's been hitting the nuts so much by Nakamura and Daniel Bryan. I'll give props to Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan knew, man, this dude's got some sensitive nuts. I'm going to kick the shit out this dude in the nuts. And no one's going to do anything about it. Ref ain't going to see it. I'm just going to do it. It surely worked for Nakamura, even though Nakamura didn't win, but surely worked for Nakamura. I'm going to take this dude's nuts out. Then I'm going to hit him with a flying knee. Daniel Bryan wins. Man, those holding the hand stomps. Set up, wrestling, fake, real, all that good stuff, whatever. Man, those stomps look brutal. And that's the ability to sell that these two guys have. Man, just such a great match. Now we have a heel, Daniel Bryan, going up against a Brock Lesnar. I'll get into my predictions in a bit, but I think it's interesting because now you're going to have a Daniel Bryan who shuts up the yes chants. Fans want the yes chants. But WWE proved to us the yes movement was something that's 3, 4, 5 years old. Keywords old. It's not there anymore. It was something fun to chant. But when you can change the dynamic of a whole show just with one heel turn, and think about it, SmackDown, I was texting Sage about this earlier this week. SmackDown doesn't have a strong heel at all who's championship worthy. And you know why? Because AJ's cleared out the roster. Unfortunately, Samoa Joe has lost a bunch of matches to AJ. Randy Orton's heel because he's Randy Orton. The Miz comes up short in big matches. And we're not knocking on these guys. Hell, we've sung the Miz's praises for the past, year and a half? But they just, when it comes to title fights, they just lose. But Daniel Bryan, it's going to be really interesting. We haven't seen heel Daniel Bryan since superstar Daniel Bryan became the mega star that he was. Matter of fact, Daniel Bryan was a heel that kind of turned face based on fan reaction and us loving to chant yes and realizing, man, this guy's great and respecting his talent. So it's interesting to see where they're going to go with this. I really hope we have a heel. Let's go with a cop-out. Give me a heel Daniel Bryan this week. This weekend going into Survivor Series. And I'll save it for the predictions. I'm gonna save this one for the predictions. And speaking of predictions, Survivor Series isn't the only. I mean, we've got a lot going on just in professional wrestling in general. the MMA in general, just a lot in and out of the ring. MMA, Nick Diaz was signed to a fight at, I think it's going to be 233 sometime in March, which, funny enough, should be Daniel Cormier versus Brock Lesnar. Just looking like a pretty stacked card, but let's get back to the ring. Let's get back to the ring, dog. NXT is this weekend. And we got, and I'm going to miss Sage on this one because I'd have to hit the audio cue for Sage marking out because we have NXT TakeOver going down. So let's get into my review of NXT TakeOver. This is a good show. You know, one thing I like about NXT, they only have 4 matches. They're not messing around with anything. NXT comes out for the takeovers. They say, you got 2 hours. You're going to see 4 matches. Shut the hell up. Don't talk to me about anything. Just shut the hell up. These are going to be great matches. And there's a couple here. No titles on the line on the pre-show. But the match with no title on the line that I'm most interested in is Aleister Black versus Johnny Gargano. I'm really curious to see now that introductory love, the honeymoon phase on Alexander Black is done. So I just want to see where this guy, where he goes. Because I don't want him to get sent to the main roster and job a couple matches, win a couple, lose a couple, and then just kind of be middle ground. Because we know Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, they can go no matter what they're doing. So I think that this match could be great. I believe Johnny Gargano is kind of playing the heel in the match, but we'll see how it goes. I think both these guys can go. I don't foresee them both being on the NXT roster more than they'll probably get called up after WrestleMania. Not just because they've been around so much, but just because for the most part they've had the big matches that they can have, and they've fought pretty much everybody. So prediction-wise, I've got, believe it or not, I got Johnny Gargano winning this one. I think Johnny wrestling just off the feud with Ciampa, man, he could use a win, but I just think it'll be a solid match. These ones are going to run, each match on the NXT TakeOver card, War Games card, is going to run 20 minutes or so. So I got Gargano winning this one. And then one match I'm really interested in. It's Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane. Now, the background on this one is Kairi Sane beat Shayna Baszler at the first Mae Young Classic in the finals. Shayna Baszler is now the champ. And we're in an interesting spot because this is a 2 out of 3 falls match. So I definitely think it's going to go 1-1 and then the third fall. So, but in the match, I don't know. This is a close match because the common sense thing would be Shayna Baszler loses and gets called up. But I don't know if she has really done it all enough to be called up. I mean, think about it. She could fight a couple of Mae Young contestants. There's a lot of people she could still fight out there. And Asuka was on the card, and Asuka was dominant forever before being called up. So I wonder if Shayna Baszler is going to stay. I think her getting called up is dependent on Ronda Rousey and where she goes, in her future, if she's going to have, tag matches or anything, or needs a stable or anything like that. Matter of fact, one thing I was curious on, and please hit me up in the chat or on It's Real WrestleCast, Real WrestleCast on Twitter. Hit me up and let me know, how long is Ronda Rousey's contract? Because if she just signed a 1 year and I'm done deal, because think about it, if she just signed a quick 1 year deal, year and a half or whatever it is, she might be done by this WrestleMania. I mean, she's fought Charlotte. She was gonna fight Becky. She feuded with the Bellas. So she's fought a lot of top-notch talent. So I wonder if she's just got a year and a half deal. So hit me up because I'm not sure what it is. But how great would it be if we had a moment where Shayna Baszler turned on Ronda Rousey and set up a match between those two? Because right now, Shayna Baszler and Asuka look like they could beat Ronda Rousey. Charlotte's going to put up a heck of a fight this week, so I'm curious to see how that's going to go, especially since Charlotte could lead a match. So I'm curious, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to go with Kairi Sane winning this one and holding on to that strap for quite a bit. It'll be a close match, but I'm going to go with Kairi Sane here. Now let's go ahead and take a quick pause and give another tribute to Shay. Almost said Shane McMahon. Let's go ahead and give another tribute to Sage and Mark with a little drinky drink. Boy, that's good. Y'all hear that? That's the cats. Cats trying to make a cameo in this podcast. Now, okay, this match, I don't know what match is going to main event the show. I think that it could be Tommaso Ciampa and Velveteen Dream, or it could be the War Games match. But since the name of the show is War Games, I'm just going to say that's going to be the main event. And then here we go. NXT champion Tommaso Ciampa and Velveteen Dream. I'm calling it right now. We are going to be not in the Undisputed Era or the Attitude Era or the Reality Era. We're entering the Velveteen Era. The Velveteen Dream is going to defeat Tommaso Ciampa for the championship this weekend, become champ. And then that leaves maybe Gargano, since he didn't have a belt, and Ciampa to get called up. I don't know if they'll go to 205. There's, people joke on those guys because they're smaller guys, but they're amazing in the ring. But I don't think height or weight or anything like that matters. We talked about it, I think, last week or the week before about Cedric getting called up from 205 Live. And I hate to use the term called up, but it really is getting called up. But I don't think we'll see 205 as a feeder system or anything like that, like NXT is. But, I got Velveteen Dream winning this one. This dude has put on outstanding performance after outstanding performance. And he's, I think, 23. The dude's young and putting on matches like this, has the character to get things done, obviously on a heel or a face level. So I think Velveteen's going to win this one. I'm going to go with Velveteen. Now, main event of War Games, Ricochet, Pete Dunne, and the War Raiders versus all four healthy now, of the Undisputed Era. The Undisputed Era, I'm just hands down is going to win this match. I think it'll be a great match. But I've just got the Undisputed Era because I think the four of them clearly are going to put on a couple of good matches on a couple of takeovers, and they're going to show up and make a big impact on Raw or SmackDown, all four of them at some point. Adam, oh, man. I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited, fellas. I'm getting excited for what Adam Cole is going to be able to do on the main roster. And we have Red Dragon. They're going to be a dominant tag team, hopefully. Tag teams are tough these days. A lot of competition out there. And Roderick Strong will manhandle that mid card. But let's talk about tag teams for a second. The reason I say they're strong is, let's talk about this. The Bar, they weren't on TV for a while, after feuding with the New Day. Then they're back on TV, then they're the tag champs. So to the tag teams out there, if you're not on TV, it seems like it's not that they're writing you off or that you're jobbers, but there's just not enough time for you on TV. So just hold on. Think about it. The Usos were on TV solid for well over a year. Hottest tag team of the year last year. And now they're on maybe every other episode of SmackDown. But that doesn't mean they're bad. The Bar wasn't on SmackDown forever. The Revival wasn't on Raw forever. Where's that push coming? When is that going to happen? You know what I mean? So the tag teams, don't worry out there. The tag team division is so stacked, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. So I think that's awesome. So I do have the Undisputed Era winning this one, and I really think they're going to make a huge impact. As soon as they're just, these guys are going to hit the ground running. They're going to get the fans behind them pretty quickly. They'll probably debut as a heel stable, I would say. Now, Let's get on to Survivor Series. Survivor Series, man, what a card. Where does Survivor Series rank? If you're listening to this podcast, again, at Real WrestleCast, where does Survivor Series rank on all of your, of all the pay-per-views you have every year? Where does it rank on your favorite? Let's think about it. You got the big four: Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. A couple gimmick stuff: Hell in a Cell, Extreme Rules, Money in the Bank. But where does Survivor Series truly rank in your minds? I would definitely say my number one is Royal Rumble. Number two, WrestleMania. But three might have to be Survivor Series. Especially now, I love this format. It's the Raw versus SmackDown format. They bill it as the only time you ever see Raw versus SmackDown. And I dig that. Because we talked about it last year on the show. It creates 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. A little bit different last year because of the pay-per-view setup. It creates 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks of a rivalry. And they did a pretty decent job of it. Better last year than this year, but a pretty decent job of it this year. In pitting guys against each other that are dream matches. Think about it. We have Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Think about that. And it's even better because nothing is on the line. No title, or excuse me, nothing. No, when I say nothing, no titles are on the line. So that, to me, is better because you're just going to see a match. It's not thinking about, man, I think Seth Rollins is going to win because the title's on the line and he's going to feud with so-and-so next probably, or whatever the case. You're just going to have straight matches. So that's what I like about it. And then they have, 2 old school matches? But now Survivor Series is less about the traditional Survivor Series matches and more about brand versus brand. And I'm going to be interested to see how that plays out when the brand is truly split and half the wrestlers are on Fox, half the wrestlers are on Comcast and USA. Oh, that's going to be really interesting because, think about it. If I work for Fox, I could say, wait a minute. Why is my Daniel Bryan losing to your Brock Lesnar? Isn't there a conflict of interest here? So we have some interesting wrestling coming up in 2019. Interesting storylines and the who's and the what's. So let's get into our Survivor Series predictions. The 10 on 10, the tag team traditional Survivor Series match. So the participants in this one, I don't really remember offhand. I think it was the SmackDown was the Usos, the New Day, the Clones, the Good Brothers, and I'm forgetting somebody. Sanity. I like the Purge reference, by the way. By Sanity this week on Raw. Versus Team Raw, which is, oh boy, I can't even remember this one. Bobby Roode, Chad Gable, Lucha House Party, The Ascension, The Revival, and let me look this last one up, the B Team. This one has SmackDown all over it, just in the traditional sense. These guys just a bit more talented. So this one has SmackDown written all over it to me. I think it'll be a decent match. That's actually the match that's going to be on the kickoff show. So decent match, but I definitely have SmackDown picking up that one. Now let's get into it. SmackDown. I'll just say this. I think some of the SmackDown versus Raw championship matches here, I think maybe they'll split. We'll see. We'll see what they'll end up doing here because they could split on the card with half Raw, half SmackDown. Raw's traditionally won, been a bit heavier on the win column with the brand split, dating back to the old brand split. Raw Tag Team Champions, the AOP versus the SmackDown Tag Champs, The Bar. I think AOP wins this one. I'm saying that because AOP is dominant right now, and they're going to continue their dominance and keep it going. I think they're just going to stick with what works. Right now, we don't know a lot about AOP losing matches, so I think it's realistic if they could beat The Bar. But what's interesting about this match is that both these teams are heels. So you have 2 heel teams, 2 veterans versus 2 young guys. So I think the veterans will carry the match. Two heel teams going up against each other. So I think in this one, the bar is going to play the face. People don't have a backstory on the AOP like they do on the bar, so it's easier for the bar to play the face. Now, speaking of faces, beards are on faces. And one man with a great beard is Sage the Mark, and it's because he takes a swig of that drink he drank each and every week on our podcast. So again, let's do another swig for Sage Mark. Not bad. One thing I was really happy with on this card, the Survivor Series card, is the cruiserweights are getting some love. Buddy Murphy's going to be fighting Mustafa Ali. Now, you got to remember something. A couple weeks ago, we did a specialty show. It's almost like a true-false specialty show where Sage and I had a debate. Not a good debate. It wasn't very good. It wasn't very grand. It wasn't bad. It wasn't worse. Actually, I'd say it wasn't good at all. It was great. The Great Debate Part 2. Go listen to it if you can. It's where we take real sensitive topics in the world of professional wrestling and we debate on them. It's actually a 2-week-long show. And I predicted that by the end of next year, the Cruiserweight Division 205 Live would be done. But maybe Vince McMahon listened to me. He said, "Oh, that son of a bitch, Ben Goosen. No, he's wrong. He's wrong. Let's poison him with ruthless aggression. This son of a bitch." Maybe that's what he thought. And he said, you know, let's get Buddy Murphy versus Mustafa Ali. Let's go ahead and get that on a main card. This match is going to be amazing. We saw what Buddy Murphy can do at the Saudi show 2 weeks ago. And Mustafa Ali, he could really showcase his talent here. So I think that's going to be a great match. Unfortunately, I have Ali coming up short. Buddy Murphy's going to take the W here. Now, let's go into, before we go in too deep on a couple things, let's go into the Intercontinental, because when by in too deep, I mean on the actual Survivor Series elimination match. Let's go with the Intercontinental Championship match. Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura. This is a match that people would pay big money for in and of itself. A ton of money in and of itself. But we're getting it, and the timing of it is perfect, especially with Roman being out and the Dean Ambrose storyline going on. So I think that the timing of it is perfect. So I'm going to actually go with Nakamura. Shinsuke, Boomaye, Shinsuke, Boomaye. Shinsuke winning this one. And I'm saying that because I think there will be some Dean Ambrose outside interference and Shinsuke picking up the win. Seth Rollins doesn't need to win this match. So I think that it goes farther to enhance Shinsuke and Dean. So I'm going to go with Shinsuke on this one, picking up the W because of outside interference. Now, before we get into some of the kind of bigger card, the championship fights, I'm going to go over the men's card. The traditional Survivor Series, the 5-on-5. We got Braun Strowman. Catch these hands. Finn Balor, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley. Lashley's been great now that he's got the mouthpiece, and he's an official heel, by the way. Versus a returning Survivor Series participant in Shane McMahon, The Miz, Rey Mysterio, Jeff Hardy, and Samoa Joe. I think this is going to be a great match. I wouldn't be surprised if Shane gets eliminated early. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some Braun Strowman versus Rey Mysterio action going on in the ring. Braun Strowman versus Samoa Joe action in the ring. There's a lot you got going on for you, but unfortunately, I've got the Raw side winning this one. I wouldn't be surprised if Braun actually wins this one. Hopefully, they rough him up a bit. Because, I mean, think about it. They got Drew and Braun on one team. Those are two big dudes. But I don't think SmackDown has a chance here. Joe might get pinned, or he may even get counted out. Who knows? I don't see SmackDown having a chance in this one. just based on the level of talent and, how well they do in the ring. Now, on the women's side, this is the interesting one here because we have our women's 5-on-5. The women's 5-on-5 on the Raw side is Mickie James, Natalya, Nia Jax, Tamina, the new BFFs, and Ruby Riott versus Carmella, Asuka, Naomi, Sonya Deville, excuse me. And we will find out. You will find out who it's going to be. I'm more than willing to bet it's going to be Trish Stratus. There was early rumors that it's going to be Paige doing her return, that she's been medically cleared to return. But I don't think it's going to be. I'm going to go with Trish Stratus, even though she made appearances on Raw. I don't really. But see, that's the tough part. Because now that I'm thinking about it out loud with all the listeners, this could be Kairi Sane. This could be Shayna Baszler. Because, if it's Kairi Sane, that means she's going to lose Saturday night. Wow. So we might be in the mix of whoever loses Saturday gets that SmackDown roster spot. But it'd be crazy because that means Shayna Baszler's on SmackDown, but she's friends with Rousey on Raw. Interesting. Because of who the surprise guest might be, I'm just going to go ahead and go with SmackDown. And I think that the surprise guest is going to get the dub. Raw Women's Championship. While we're sticking on the women, Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair. Charlotte hasn't been doing too great as of late. She's just not doing too great in her win-loss column. She's lost some big matches since she's lost her title and stuff. Still an amazing in-ring performer. She's got it. I don't know if she got it from her dad or just if it's genetic it that she got. Who knows? But I think she'll be able to hold on and carry a good match, have a great match with Ronda Rousey. We've talked about Ronda. She's doing amazing on the roster. She's exceeded all of our expectations. So I will say Ronda's going to stay looking strong in this match. And here's what's interesting is if you keep Ronda Rousey looking strong in these matches, it makes it more shocking that first time she loses. And I got to give credit to her. She shows up every week. She's truly committed to WWE. This isn't like let me collect a multi-million-dollar paycheck and bail out. She's committed to the job, and that's amazing. She's exceeding all of our expectations. So I've got her tapping out Charlotte Flair in a fairly close match. And that brings us into... I'd go out and on the line and say this is a dream match. I would say this is a dream match somewhat. It's Brock Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan. Man, what an amazing match. Crazy, ain't it? That we're actually having this match. Before I get into picking the winner of this match, I mentioned it earlier that I had my thoughts on it, and I'd get into it in the prediction. Let's take a swig for Sage Martin. Ooh. It was more of a slam. There we go. So, that'll put some hair on your chest. Ooh. That'll add to my impending 5 hairs on my chest. Be up to 7 by the night's end. Brock Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan. I'm going to tell you how this match is going to end right now. No, I'm going to tell you how this match is going to go. Let's get a heel Daniel Bryan. Because as it is, when this match starts, Daniel Bryan is a face. And that's because Daniel Bryan, he's the guy who came back. He defied odds. He fought for years to be able to come back to wrestling. When you have Daniel Bryan's story, you're a face already. Already. There's nothing you can do about it. You're a face. Amazing story. Now, this isn't a face Daniel Bryan coming with the I fought, I scratched, I clawed to prove that I'm the best storyline. We have a heel Daniel Bryan. And that could mean a lot of things. That could mean the fans still want him to win. He buys into it. goes from heel to face for this one night. But no. Let's get a heel aggressive, not afraid to just lay it into Brock and cheat if I have to. Not cowardly cheat, but just cheat. Daniel Bryan. Matter of fact, let's get Daniel Bryan to low blow Brock. This is the way I would end the match. I would go with Daniel Bryan low blowing Brock. Maybe the low blow's overdone. Shinsuke's used it a ton lately. But he low blows Brock and then just beats the hell out of him. But would that get him over? It'd get him disqualified. So this match is interesting. I think Brock's going to get his licks in. But I think Daniel Bryan should not be afraid to cheat and go there. You know what I'm saying? Daniel Bryan should not be afraid to cheat and to go to areas he's not used to going. So I'm curious to see about this weekend where the heel Daniel Bryan goes. Because it's interesting to think about it. He could cheat to win. He could use cheap tactics. It's crazy that he's the champ. He had a big heel turn this week. Became champ. And then you might have him job to Brock Lesnar? Does that make him lose clout? I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. But in this match, I've got Brock Lesnar. Since I have to pick a winner, I can't go the route of disqualification or anything like that. I have to pick somebody. I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar picking up the W. I think there's more money in keeping Brock on, especially while he's fighting for the UFC Heavyweight Championship. Because if he wins the UFC Heavyweight Champion and he's the WWE Champion, WWE can make him show up to a bunch of shit, pay him a bunch of money, and now you have something extra more marketable in Brock. So we'll see how it goes. You know, I'm curious to see. I'm pumped for Survivor Series. Naturally pumped. Just super pumped. Again, this one ranks pretty high on my pay-per-view card list. So this week, that wraps up this week in wrestling. We had a lot of good stuff. Again, hit us up at Real WrestleCast. Sage Mark will be back on our next show, a.k.a. the 100th show. So again, hit us up at Real WrestleCast. We have some special stuff we'd like to do for you, but we want to hear from you. That's the easiest thing is instead of us trying to come up with creative ways to make our fans happy, just hit us up and tell us. It's as simple as that, right? There's not much more than that. Just hit us up anytime. We'd love to hear from you guys again. I'm your boy, Ben Goosen. Let me take a swig for the badass Sage Mark. Again, your boy, Ben Goosen, Survivor Series predictions. A lot going on in the world today, but just make sure to love each other, treat each other with respect, with all the differences of opinions that we have today on politics and Trumps and this and that and lefts and rights and ups and downs and woozies, wazies. It's okay to have different opinions. That's what's great about being a wrestling fan. I like heels. Sage like faces. We both like indie wrestling, but we don't fight over it. At the end of the day, just keep it real. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Ben Goosen. The thoughts and opinions expressed today are that of the IRWP and not of the host. Hey, go ahead and hit us up at Real WrestleCast. Let us know your thoughts and opinions on today's show, last week's show. Oh, I don't know, maybe the other 98 shows before this one. Oh, man, hit us up. Show 99 today. We've got show 100 coming up. Again, we really want your feedback at Real WrestleCast. Tell us what you'd like to see at a show 100 and what prizes you'd like to see. I'm your boy, Ben Goosen. Again, quick swig for Sage and Mark. Everybody remember, keep it real.